All right, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Go ahead and take row.
Debbie Moore, Glenn Johnson,
Here.
Cynthia Meyer,
Here.
Matt Lassen, Cheryl Lee,
Here.
Bryce Berry,
Here.
Ismail Harris,
Here.
Paula Turner,
Here.
Gary Taylor.
Nope. But we do have a quorum. So.
All right, so go ahead and the item to be considered is to hear the Colony Mud 1A Section 3 Phase B final plat. Jennifer?
Yep. And can you guys see my screen, my presentation?
Yes.
So this is consider action on a final plat for section Mud 1A Section 3 Phase B. So this is a little over 60 acres. This area is located over in the far east side. This is the part that's up against the river. So this has actually been in process for a while. They originally did the preliminary plat in 2018. They've been building, they were building out 1A, got that recorded, and then moved on to 3A and moved on to 3B. So this is the overall plat. It's 115 lots. There are a range of sizes, actually. There's some 80s in this section, and then there's some 50s and 60s in the other sections. So this is kind of a little wider range on this side. They do have an amenity center lot that serves this section since they are bisected by FM 969. Sam Houston does connect back to 969 and curves through the property and does stub out to the south. So that will provide, when the property to the south develops, it will provide a secondary point of ingress and egress for the neighborhood. There are also 3 other drainage, landscape, public utility easement lots throughout the subdivision. Total, there are 11 streets, Sam Houston being the main connector, and then 10 other residential streets that connect into the neighborhood. It does actually provide connection to the property owner to the north. That's part, he's not part of the subdivision, but it gave him a driveway access. So yeah, the final plat was actually reviewed and found administratively complete in February 18th of 2019. Like I said, this has been in process for a while. The preliminary plat was originally approved in June 12th of 2018, but the public improvement plan for this section was done June 11th, 2020. And since then they've been building out, and they're actually to the point where our engineer is getting ready to give his final acceptance so they can record the plat and start building the houses. So everything is in on this, all the streets, the previous section for 3A has been completed for, I think, 6 months or more, been recorded and been building houses. Planning director recommends that P&Z approve the final plat for the Colony Mud 1A Section 3 Phase B. Any questions on this section? Glenn?
I just noted a few caveats. I just want to ask a question on it. That they did not use the Atlas 14 for the drainage, and I don't know if that's is that documentation indicate any need for any change or not?
No, so this, like I said, this started before we even issued the moratorium. One of the things, since this is so close to the river, this section doesn't provide any detention. It does direct discharge to the river. So anything that is coming off the side is going straight to the river. Atlas 14 numbers really, the major change for this area had to do with how much water you were going to have to detain on site. The rainfall totals increased, that meant your detention increased. And since we're not doing any detention, that won't affect this section.
Yeah, I figured that. I just want to make sure I was clear on that. The other question is, did the 100-year floodplain that's shown on the plat, did that change with more recent data?
We just honestly, literally got the preliminary FEMA results last week, so we haven't had a chance to review how that affects. But that this is all been built and designed to the FEMA information we had. So, and what we have right now is preliminary data. We don't have the actual updated floodplain. So, as of the date of all of this, nothing has changed on the floodplain.
Okay. And I was just curious about this. When the final plat, when we approve it, do we hold it until the fiscal guarantee is tendered, or has that already been tendered? What is that status?
Yeah, so we actually already have the maintenance bond. So they've built all the infrastructure, which if they wanted to record the plat prior to doing that, we would have had to get a performance bond. They've already built everything. Our construction inspector and engineer are getting ready to final all of that. Their engineers already provided us a concurrence letter, and they provided us the maintenance bond for 2 years. So anything streets that have issues in that 2-year time frame, we have basically it's a warranty to go in and fix those if we need to.
And you said the engineer is going to give a final acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Has that not been done yet, or?
It's in process. Our construction manager has already written his letter saying it's everything's been inspected, everything's up to the design drawings, and it's just the formality of our engineer signing off on it. That's the absolute last step. So.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question, Jennifer. On other projects that you said are just pretty much drained to the river, are we requiring any kind of water quality before that?
Not currently, no. So that was a conversation that was brought up during the storm drainage manual discussion, and there are some low impact development methods in there, but at this time we didn't include any water quality, and we don't have to until we reach a certain population. So TCEQ at some point will require that, but we're not required to yet.
And just for everyone's knowledge, that the water quality basically cleans the water as it comes off the driveways and the roads.
Right, it goes into the river.
Lifts, exactly, yeah. Or it goes into the river. So we're not detaining it, and we're not cleaning it. It's going straight into the river.
So I'm glad Glenn and Pablo asked those questions. Those were some of my concerns. What can we do about that? Do we have to move forward without some kind of resolution to those questions?
The staff has found that this meets all of our requirements, both code requirements and their consent agreement requirements. So at this point, the P&Z has to, unless you have a code reason why that you don't think it meets the code, you have to approve the plat.
Yeah, I think that I just wanted to put it on the table for everybody to see that it's probably something we need to start bringing up. Maybe that's something, Jennifer, we can add to the list of things we wanted to talk with. Water quality on riverfront properties. I think what we have, because that's flowing right down by Fisherman's Park. Mm-hmm. And, I think we can do something about that. And it's, like you said, low cost. Maybe it's just a vegetative swale or a strip of gravel or something, just to maybe they run a hike and bike trail across that and work that into the design. Those are methods I think that both groups can benefit from. I think that would be a good thing to put into the discussion.
Yes, and I can, and then one of our future meetings, I can probably have our city engineer go maybe into a little bit more in depth. And we actually do have a new director of engineering starting next week. So eventually when she gets up to speed, we can maybe have a deeper discussion on what actually got adopted in the stormwater drainage manual.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, Jennifer, I have a question, Pablo. Would that be something that P and Z can recommend to the city council to add to the code or whatever, that rather than a suggestion, make it a requirement that they have some sort of, the developers have some sort of water quality plan so as to avoid that pollution? Do we need legislation or recommendation to the city council for amendment of the development scheme?
Let me figure out the proper process for that. It definitely can be something that we revisit in the comprehensive plan, because I know we have different utility, environmental, those kind of areas of the comprehensive plan. So that's something I think we can add into there. And I know there are there were some water quality requirements in the comprehensive plan that I just don't think we have gotten to yet. Again, we're 5 years in, we've still got a few more years for that comprehensive plan to implement the rest of it. So.
Yeah, I agree. Once again, I agree with Glenn. Water quality is important. We got to make sure we sustain our aquatic life. Also, depending on whatever might get put down the drains or flow into the river, eventually that's going to go to our water plant. And our water plant, depending on what kind of inflow it has to deal with, it can offset things there and also cause issues at our water plant. It just snowball with people improperly having things drained from the neighborhood. So, yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think even though we're not required, it's good to do it, just to do the right thing and be proactive and not reactive and get this before it is a problem. So I'm in a total agreement with that.
I'll put that on the list.
But just to clarify, for this particular item, we're kind of out. We're already past that point. So I think, unless there's any other conversation, I need to hear a motion for the item.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Motion to approve the plat, the Colony Mud 1A Section 3 Phase B.
I second.
All right. Let's go ahead and take the roll.
Greg Sherry,
Yes.
Ishmael Harris,
Yes.
Pablo Serna,
Yes.
Glenn Johnson,
Yes.
Cynthia Meyer,
Yes.
Cheryl Lee,
I think Cheryl's frozen.
uh-oh. Cheryl, can you hear us now?
If you're a yes, give us a thumbs up.
Okay, yeah, I got sound now. My sound is going in and out. Yes.
There you go.
All right. Motion carries.
Excellent. And that brings us to number 4, adjournment.
Make a motion
All right.
to adjourn.
Second.
Adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Night, everyone.
Night. Have a good one.